Spears and Ali back on ESPN Tucson. Saturday night, we've got the Arizona Football Spring Showcase. It's the annual Red Blue Spring Showcase, and you can expect a beer garden. There's going to be an Easter egg hunt for kids. There's also going to be a movie played after the Spring Showcase. It's going to be a very interactive event for Arizona football fans and the Arizona football program. Should be a good one Saturday afternoon. And we got the guy, the man, the myth, the legend, Brent Brennan, head coach of the Wildcats, joining us here on ESPN Radio. Good morning, Brent. How's it going?
Going great, man. It's great to hear from you guys. I love the James addiction to start this thing off. Got me going.
Heck yeah, man.
All right, yeah. Well, we're all about motivation, man. We've been watching a lot of John Gruden videos lately, so we're well taught. Hey, Brent, I'm wondering, man. Thanks for being on, and I'm always interested in the mental side of the game from a coach's perspective. And I know this spring you got a new offensive coordinator, Seth Dagey, and Danny Gonzalez has taken over the defense, and you're implementing the basics and the foundations of what you guys are going to do when the season kicks off. But the spring to me is also a time for team building. How important is team building for you during this period of the year?
Well, I think it's a huge part of it because, and maybe never been more important than it is now because you have so many new players coming in and out of your program, right? It's, with the transfer portal and just I think we said we brought in 34 new players in January, and we'll bring in probably another 15 in June. So like the massive turnover on your roster, it's never been more important to find ways to help your team connect in places other than like the football field or the weight room.
Talking with Arizona head football coach Brent Brennan here on Spears and Ali. So Brent, the spring has come down to this. It feels like, man, the last month has just gone by in the snap of the fingers. What's it been like for you just watching your team grow over the last few weeks, and how much are you looking forward to the spring game coming up here on Saturday?
I'm excited for Saturday because I think it's going to be a great day for our fan base. I think that part of it's going to be a lot of fun because there's going to be so much going on. You mentioned the Easter egg hunt and the beer garden on the field, but there's going to be like a kid zone and face painting and just like, how much stuff can we kind of cram into one day that gives our fans and our students a chance to be around our team, see our team play, and get excited about Arizona football. And that's what we got. Live music. We got a band that's going to be playing. So there's all kinds of action. Yeah. I can't wait.
So just out of curiosity, there's a beer garden down on the field. And, when Brent Brennan decides to crack a cold one, what's the beer of choice for you?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say, being a big fan of the Tucson local scene, I'm going to go Barrio Blonde all the way.
Now, that's a great answer to a relatively mediocre question, to be fair. But
come on.
No. Hey, Brent, when you got here, we've talked about it before when you've been on. I mean, just drinking out of a fire hose, so many things to do. Now you've had a year. How important has it been to have that full off season for you going into the 2025-26 season?
I think it's been great. I think it's been great for our team. I think it's been great for our coaching staff. I know it's been really, really good for me, just because we've been able to kind of continue to fine tune and streamline what we do and what we're trying to get done. The buy-in from the players has been outstanding. The vibe at practice, like that part of it has been really, really positive. I think, I mentioned it when, my first press conference was spring ball. Tough guys, love football, want to be here at the University of Arizona. And I feel like we've got a really good group of young men that can answer yes to all those three things. And so that's moving us forward in a great direction. And practice has been competitive. I mean, Justin's been out there a bunch. It's been highly competitive. We've had a bunch of live work. And, so I'm excited about the progress. We still got a ways to go. The portal opens today, roster management, acquisition, retention, the chaos of it all. But hey, we are all about living the red line, and we're going to keep attacking this thing.
And speaking of the portal, what has the communication been like with your team now that it's officially here? Like, what are those conversations with guys that are on the team? And also, how do you just look at, maybe some of the pieces that you could add to polish off your roster?
Well, I think that's a very, very complicated and very individual conversation. You know what I mean? That's not a blanket conversation because every player is different. Every player could have different opportunities, or every player might not want to do that at all. Right. So, those are one-off conversations or one-on-one conversations with their position coach and or me. And those are all, something that we take serious because what we've said is that we are trying to build this program. We want to build a championship program with guys that want to be here. And if guys are flirting with the portal, right, that's telling us that they don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And so that part of it is something that we, continue to work through as a staff. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 10 days in terms of our current roster. And honestly, there's no way you can, Justin. Yeah. There's no way, because the conversations that are happening are all through agents and third parties and kind of backdoor. So we're just trying to over communicate with our players and make sure that everybody's being straight up and transparent with each other. And, and if we're going to build a championship program, we got to trust each other, and we got to be able to communicate at a high level. And if guys are having those thoughts, we got to be able to talk about it. So obviously it just started today, and we've been having those talks for a couple of weeks with our players.
I'm wondering if you could maybe shed some light on this for what you can share. What is it like being able to recruit, but also you're not only talking to kids and their parents, but like you said, you're talking to these third parties and agents. What's that like from your perspective as a head coach?
It runs the gamut, to be honest with you. Some of the agents we're talking to are incredibly high level, incredibly reputable, very, very experienced people in that line of work. And then some people are just kind of newbies and in some cases taking advantage of the young men that they say they represent. And so obviously this is all new, and it's all accelerating very quickly on both our players, our coaches, and just on college football in general. So there's a whole bunch of people that have entered the marketplace trying to make a quick buck off of the young men that play the game. And I think that can be maybe the ugly part of it.
Yeah.
But like I said, every case is extremely individual. And so that's why as we work through it, the guys that want to be a part of this thing and want to build this thing, that's who we're going to move forward with.
Sounds like you need a high-powered lawyer and a master negotiator as the Arizona Wildcat football GM. And I'm just going to tell you, Mike Lombardi's got nothing on me, Coach.
You're ready, are you?
Ready.
Yeah.
Ready. Hey,
I mean, like, and those are some of the ways that people are solving some of these things, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just throwing a ton of cash at things, and sometimes that's how things get done too, right? Like if you're going to pay a general manager, $1.5 million, like that's a commitment to do that. So everybody's doing it different ways. Everybody's, some models are a little bit more of the pro model because of the portal and the acquisition and the retention of players becoming more of a focus and not really recruiting high school players as much. And then some people like us are going to be more developmental, and we're going to build this thing with guys who are here for 3, 4, 5 years. And through that process, their development will help put us in a place to contend for conference championships.
And you hit on a really interesting point, Brent, which is, with the transfer portal, and Rick Pitino, the head basketball coach at St. John's, said this after the tournament. He's like, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to recruit maybe 1 or 2 freshmen, but it's all portal. We want to win every year. Are there high school kids getting left behind right now with the state of college football and the transfer portal that, there's a lot of talent out there that's maybe not getting on teams? Is that one of the consequences of our new age of football?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you consider that, I think we're signing 24 high school kids in this class, which is one of the bigger numbers of high school players that I know. But most teams are in the 12 to 15 range. So that's like 15 to 20 kids that would have normally gone to every school in the country from out of high school. So there's a lot of young people that the path to playing major Division I football, playing at a school like the University of Arizona, in some ways has changed because of the portal.
Going back to the product on the field, now that you've been able to see Seth Dagey and quarterback Noah Fafita work over the last few weeks, how does this new style of offense maximize what Noah is able to do as a quarterback?
Well, first of all, I think it's really fun to watch them interact in practice or in the meeting room. Just quarterback to quarterback. Coach Dagey is the kind of guy that really likes to challenge the offense, challenge players, and challenge Noah. And Noah just really is leaning into that. To watch him just like kind of orchestrate, and you see his progress accelerating as he gets more reps, right? As he gets more turns and he gets more reps in Coach Dagey's scheme, you're starting to see him execute at a higher and higher level. So it's been a lot of fun. I think his decision making, his ability, his quick release, his ability to distribute the ball to every spot on the field is going to make this stuff a lot of fun that we're running now.
And defensively, man, it's been really fun to watch those guys up front with the defensive line led by Joe Salavea and, of course, Danny Gonzalez and his staff coaching up the linebackers. What have you seen from that side of the ball, and what do you think is going to be the identity of the defense when it's all said and done?
Well, I think that part is exciting for me because I had to play against that or coach against that defense a bunch of times in my last job. And so I know what it can be. I think it's a really aggressive style of defense, lots of pressure, lots of blitzing. Like, it's a defense that loves to get after the quarterback. There's going to be enough coverage variation to keep people off guard. And I think because you're jumping in and out of a 3 and 4 down front and there's a little bit of variation, I do like the idea of us being a little bit different than our opponent and than what you see every week, right? And so that part of it, I think, is going to be something that's really positive for us as we continue to develop players in the positions that we need to make that defense go, and then also recruit and develop players that are going to help us accelerate it. So I'm fired up for the defense. I know Coach Gonzalez is a fantastic football coach, incredible leader. You should see how he's pushing those guys out there, and the guys are loving it. Guys are flying around, making plays.
And, that's another interesting point, Coach. They talk about, like, it's always this day and age of players versus the way they were. But at the end of the day, players want to be coached, right? They want to be pushed to be their very best.
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. Players, like, in my opinion, they need 3 things. They need love, structure, and discipline. Yeah. And that's our job to put those things in place for them and to do it with the consistency that helps them move in the right direction every day that they're here as part of our program. And so far, this has been an awesome spring, you guys. Like, the players are attacking the work. The vibe in the locker room is incredibly healthy. Like, everybody is all in on moving forward together. And so that's why the portal stuff is nerve-wracking, because you're like, well, you don't want somebody to disrupt all this momentum we have with our team, with Redline, with our process here.
Hey, Brent, I'm wondering, anybody that knows you even a little bit knows you eat, sleep, and drink football. You love football, and you just, we just said the showcase is Saturday, end of spring ball, but the transfer portal just opened today. As a human being, we all need our downtimes. As a head coach of a Division I program like Arizona, do you ever actually get some downtime so you can just recharge?
No. I would say a little bit. I was like a little bit in July.
Okay.
A little bit in July.
I was thinking
and it is an important time because, like, you need time with, time to be a dad, time to be a husband, time to, definitely recharge, because once you get into the season, it's really a 7-day-a-week, 14 to 16 hour a day job. And that's fine because you love it. I love it. It's awesome. I love coaching at the University of Arizona. I love these players and this coaching staff we have here. I love what we're doing. So you're all in on it all the time. But every now and then you do need to take a break so that you can make sure you have the right energy to get the job done.
Got a couple more for you, Coach. We got the NFL draft coming up here. Handful of Wildcats are expected to get drafted. How much are you looking forward to that time? And what do you think that's going to do it, for the program as far as, just celebrating players going to that next level?
I think it's so cool. I think it's really neat that those young men are going to have a chance to fulfill that dream, for so many players. Like, they all say they want to play in the NFL. And so now to have, those guys get that chance and fulfill that dream, because obviously everyone's talking about T-Mac and Big Jonah, but Tyler Loop's in that mix, and Ja'Cory's in that mix. And so it's going to be fun to see what's next for all those guys. And it starts on Thursday. We're going to have a good team building event around the draft. I can't wait. We're all going to go watch it together, and it's going to be a great night.
Okay. And then, lastly, I'm sure you've probably gotten this question a lot as far as like the spring game, why it's not the traditional scrimmage. How can you elaborate on why so many colleges are going away from the traditional spring game?
Well, I'd say the biggest reason is because collectives are watching spring games and agents, and then they're approaching players through direct message on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, and then they're trying to recruit them off rosters based on what they saw in the spring game on television. Yep. And so it's created kind of this shady niche where all of a sudden rosters are getting destroyed because of someone played really well in a spring game, and somebody saw it on social media or on television. And so, and then I think also it's different, there's the idea, like, it's such a fine line, you guys, about how much do we tackle and play live and how much do we protect our team. And the hard part is, I get it. Our fans want to see Noah Fafita throw touchdowns in Arizona Stadium. But my thing is, like, I want to see him throw touchdowns in Arizona Stadium in September and October and November and December. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
April is not, as big of a thing because of the injury risk. You know what I mean? So we try to be really smart about that. We're really smart about the sports science and taking care of our bodies and all these things with our strength and conditioning staff and our training staff. But the spring game has definitely changed because of the poaching of players through back channels and kind of shady dealings.
Yeah.
And then also just with the investment in the players.
Well, one man's opinion, I don't know what you really gain out of a spring game versus, I think what you're doing is brilliant. I mean, the engagement with the community is 100 times more important than, guys playing a fake game for, an hour and a half. I will tell you, I'm working on Justin on the love, structure and discipline. love is okay. Structure we're working on. Discipline may be a problem. I mean, it may need to bring you in.
We need more of that red line.
Your show's good. You guys are killing it. We all need more red line. We all need more red line.
We need more red line in our life.
Yeah. It's like your editor when you write a story, what it looks like when you get it back, a bunch of red lines.
Red lines.
Yeah.
That is Arizona head football coach Brent Brennan joining Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson. The Red Blue Spring Showcase is this Saturday at 6 o'clock. I think doors open at 5:30 or just after 5 o'clock. So get there early, get your seat, and go have some fun with the Arizona Wildcats. Brent, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, man.
It was great talking to you guys. Bear down.
Bear down. Thanks, Coach.
Good stuff there. Again, 6:05. Get there a little early. Arizona Red Blue Spring Showcase.
It's supposed to get like
Saturday.
10 degrees cooler in the next couple of days, too. So the weather's going to be beautiful on
Beautiful.
Saturday.
Beautiful.
Yeah.